All right, fresh from the junior heavyweight city of champs.
How dare you?
Joe House.
What is this kind of slander? It's the World Series. It's not the...
You've taken down all the champs that don't totally matter anymore.
The City Series or the Regional Series. It's the World Series. It's the best baseball team on planet Earth.
So
now.
The NFL and the NBA are the most two popular sports in America. DC hasn't won a title in either sport, but that's fine because you've nailed out all the junior heavyweights.
What do you mean by
baseball,
hasn't won a title?
Baseball.
We have 3 Super Bowls since I've been alive, and
you weren't even out of college yet.
I was
by the
alive
time those
though,
were over.
and I was alive for the Washington Bullets taking down
That's true.
the Larry O'Brien in 1978. I was alive for all those things.
Can we go through all the junior
during
heavyweight
my
titles?
lifetime? I have all 4 belts during my lifetime now.
World Series, Stanley Cup, WNBA. Had MLS you didn't win.
MLS, the DC United.
Lacrosse?
Rooney. Bon voyage, Wayne Rooney.
Lacrosse?
Did
you guys win team tennis?
I don't know. Yes!
You did win the team tennis.
I think we really did. I think we had one of the Williamses. Yeah.
So, is there a softball league? Is DC taking out that one?
Keep your eyes open. Kickball for sure.
Well, good luck. I hope you get to win the other 2 titles at some point. We're going to start with an MVP conversation because I went and saw Giannis, taping this on a Thursday afternoon. You and I are actually going to go see Blazers Clippers tonight. And if for some reason that game is incredible, we'll tape a little top for this. But I doubt it's going to be incredible. Portland's not playing that well. I saw Giannis last night. We talked about this before the season. Laid out the case for back-to-back MVPs. Only 12 players in history have done it. If he gets a little better, why isn't this the obvious bet? The odds have never shifted his way, and they're still not totally shifting his way. Plus 225. I'll give you his stats.
Let's hear him.
It's only we're 16 days in the season.
Yeah.
He's averaging a 29 and 14 with 7.5 assists, 59% shooting. He's taking 11 free throws a game. His PR is 35.5, which is obviously not sustainable, but insane. 2.3 blocks a game. He's averaging 3.8 threes a game this year. He made 4 in the game I went to yesterday. And when he made the 4, the third and fourth ones, there was a helplessness in the crowd that I have not felt in a while. Because when you watch him, he's so unfair. He's just unfair. He basically can get to the rim whenever he wants. And it's like, well, thank God he can't shoot threes. And now he's like kind of okay with the threes. My point is, I think he's going to win the MVP again. I don't feel like this is a 17-day overreaction. The road goes through him. If they win between 55 and 62 games, whatever, I don't see anyone taking it. What are your thoughts?
So the 3 most impressive stats to me at this juncture in the season that feel like they're sustainable and that really bolster the case. The assists. Over 7 assists a game. That's MVP level distribution for his position and for he gets touches on every possession. But like dishing with that kind of frequency, that's translating into them having offensive success. That's humongous. The 3-point shooting, if he tries for a game and he shoots even 30%,
he's 27%. He needs to get to 31, 32.
Yeah,
but
right.
That's a huge win if he can get that.
Absolutely. And then the blocks. I mean, the blocks are kind of always there, but if he makes that commitment and he's averaging 2.5 blocks a game, that's changing the game on both ends of the floor, and that's something that everybody. And you just said the mark for wins is between 55 and 62. This is another conversation for a different podcast. I don't think we're going to see teams anymore get much more than like 64 to 66 wins. Like, I can't imagine the scenario under which NBA teams are going to have wins that go greatly north of like 64 wins because of all of the load factor stuff and all the rest.
Peter North load management.
Yes. Oh, can we trademark that? Let's officially call it. Have you been calling it that?
I actually looked to see if there had ever been a porn movie named Load Management. There was not.
But
then as
unlikely.
I was looking it up, I was afraid I was going to get a virus.
I don't believe you. That's
no,
there
definitely wasn't.
No load management.
Giannis.
Let's change that.
Last 3 years, 27 points a game, 28 points a game, 29 points a game. So he's still improving. Rebounds, 10, 12.5, 14 this year. Assists, 5, 6, 7.5.
Yeah.
MVP is about narrative. He's still getting better.
That's
and
right.
this was what we said before the year. It's like I watched him last year. I thought he was the MVP. I thought he was the best player of the regular season. But I also felt like there was room for him to get better. And he's still getting better. And, from an eye test standpoint, it's I try to see him at least once a year. I would encourage everybody out there, if you love basketball, just in general, you should go to see the best guys or try to. I know it's expensive to get tickets sometimes, but the eye test is unbelievable. The ground that he carries, just the shape of his body. He's really like we were texting with a friend of ours last night, like, who's this comp? And there just is no comp. It's
I like to argue for Wilt because I feel like, Wilt was the first true, real unicorn. He was so far ahead of his time. His physical stature was so dissimilar to everybody else that he played with. And I think about Wilt and what he might have been capable of in this modern era if he grew up like in the last 20 years or whatever, with that body, with all that athleticism. That's the best I can kind of come up with. But there really isn't any comparison because you're doing this cross-era thing where it's not really possible.
That's a good comparison, though, from a physical respect, because when I see the old Wilt clips, especially younger Wilt, his legs are up where his chest should be. Like, he had the longest legs.
Right.
His legs were like for an 8-foot person. And he was just so athletic and so strange looking to watch, where you're like, man, that guy. But and his arms, and he could reach everything. And that's how I felt with Giannis last night. Just incredibly long arms. He's got these huge hands. He shoots threes that are coming out of his palm. They're not even rolling off his finger. He's kind of like flinging it because his hand's so big. It's like he's throwing an orange or something.
He may figure it out. But think about one of our sort of old school eye test kind of judgments that we've made over the years when we've been looking at guys on the phone. It's 1997, and we're saying, oh, what do you think about? And we're talking about big guys and how they move up and down the floor.
Yeah.
And how we feel about their like prospects out into the future. Can these guys stay healthy? How's he move on the court?
It's like the gazelle test.
Yes.
I remember Robinson was like this.
Right, exactly.
Or young Shaq, you could just tell. Certain guys just look like they belong on a basketball court.
And they know they can move. They're very comfortable moving on the basketball court.
And they can go from 0 to 20 in a split second.
Yeah.
And that's the thing with Giannis is there's a loose ball or a deflection, and he can go from a standing, just kind of looking what's going on, to he's going full speed and he's going, I don't know, 7 yards a stride or however. It's crazy. It's crazy to watch him. We have a podcast coming next week. I don't want to spoil it, but there's a conversation with me and Jay Adonde. This is for the Book of Basketball 2.0 podcast about the 3 people I've seen in my life who could just get to the rim whenever they wanted. One of them I never got to see was Wilt, but I think just from the clips it seemed like that. The second was Shaq. And the third was LeBron, where LeBron hit this point this decade where it was like, if he had a head of steam, he's getting to the basket. He's getting to the rim, and he's going to get a layup or a dunk, or you're fouling him. I felt that way with Giannis last night. Giannis was in third gear for most of the game, which is not an insult. He can play at a pace where his third gear is better than everybody else's fifth gear. But then he has these 2 more gears he can go to where it's like, all right, this game's getting tight. I'm just going to get to the rim. And if you try to stay in my way and sag down, I'm going to hit open shooters. And you're not stopping this.
So this is great because this is the perfect segue from the last time we saw him play really competitive basketball. The Toronto Raptors elected a type of defense. They funneled his ass into the lane and dared him to beat them with exactly what you're describing, which is either some kind of intermediate floater kind of shot, which he doesn't seem to have at this stage.
Doesn't seem like he totally has it.
Or to distribute the ball, make the correct decision in real time, find the open guy. And Toronto took over that series by playing that way. And this is the evolutionary moment. We'll see what lessons learned from last year, him and Coach Bud together can collaborate and see whether or not we will be able to watch this in real time. During the regular season, getting to the hole, with a little bit of Olay defense, that's kind of one thing. But
but with the Clippers though, like Harrell's good, like
sizable. Yep.
He's the type of guy who can at least form a one-man wall and make it difficult for Giannis. And Giannis was just doing whatever. I think I thought Korver was washed up, and I have no idea if he can get through in 8 months because he's, I'm sure he looks fine now. He's had rested summer. If he can stay healthy and he has one more year in him, that's going to be really important for them because I think they really, really, really miss Brogdon. And that's one of those things where Brogdon is averaging a 22, 5, and 10 right now for Indiana, and he's like their crunch time guy. They're running the whole offense through him. The Milwaukee fans are really upset that they didn't just spend the luxury tax and keep him. There's been some word that they were worried. They thought he was an injury risk.
That was the rumor.
Feet stuff in college.
Right, that was the rumor.
He hasn't been 100% healthy for them even the last couple years, and they just decided it was too risky. It might have cost them the title.
Well,
that move.
It's too early to say because it might prove out to be too risky.
No, but just the jump that he made this year.
Yeah.
Watching that and thinking about that with Giannis.
Yeah, but the risk is, and they if this is the way they were assessing it, it hasn't been disproved. Can he do it over?
Yeah, can he do it for 8 months?
80 games, right?
But man, watching them last night, George Hill looks good.
Yeah, a little rejuvenation out of George Hill.
And mentally you feel like he's 40, but the guy's like 30.
Yeah.
Like he actually should still look good. Bledsoe is the guy I worry about. They got both Lopez's. They don't play him at the same time.
I love it. It's a terrific acquisition.
The Chris Middleton thing, like he had another one. Seems to happen a lot with him where you're at a game and you forget he's out there for a quarter.
He is who he is.
He is who he is.
Yeah, it's fine.
But
they could be successful with him in playing that role.
That's the one spot I would consider upgrading if I were them.
Which?
Middleton.
No, the spot they need to upgrade is Bledsoe. They can't trust Bledsoe for the entire season.
You're stuck with that.
No, there's going to be some like veteran point guard who can control the ball properly. It's going to come. We haven't got there yet.
Bledsoe was good last
night. It's going to be something like Goran Dragic or something like some guy like that.
That's better though.
Than Bledsoe in the fourth quarter? Who do you want running the show? Who do you
still
want running
a really
the show?
good athlete. Like he's still physical as hell.
He still takes shots that he shouldn't take when the game matters.
You know I'm not a giant Bledsoe fan, but I don't know. I think the upgrade potential would be if they made the Chris Paul move, which would be.
I mean, that's incredible. Sure, that would be an upgrade.
You're throwing some contracts in.
But how do you get there? You mean Chris Paul for Middleton?
No, it's like Bledsoe, Ilyasova.
Yeah.
They can get there with the contract.
It takes a lot to get the $40 million is a lot.
No, it's like 34 this year.
Oh, okay, that's reasonable.
It's a little more doable.
That's just Bradley Beal money. That's not John Wall money. It's just Bradley Beal money.
By the way, those guys are back. There's been a lot of stories about how Bradley Beal and John Wall love each other now.
What's not to love?
They're like buddies.
Would you like to collect $40 million and just go shoot, do whatever? I saw a stat on the Twitter about Beal starting off the season slowly. His shooting percentages are down. He's like, I don't care about shooting percentages, and I agree with him. What does he care?
Yeah,
shooters shoot. They're not going to win any games.
I actually I've liked watching them this year. I've been watching them because Isaiah's had like a little mini comeback for them.
They're trying hard.
Yeah,
they stink. I mean, they can't stop anybody and they can't score. They go on scoring droughts. The Pacers beat the pants off of them. They just way too much.
I watched some of that game.
Way too much Bonga. Way too much Wagner.
Yeah, I don't know about Bonga.
Bertans, come on.
I like Bertans.
He's fine.
MVP other odds. AD is 6-1. Harden's plus 450. Nobody's ever voting for Harden again.
It doesn't feel like it.
Watching them last night, there's a malaise / lethargy with that team. Even though they're winning by 20, it just seems like nobody's having fun.
Well, I want to ask this. How long do you think a Miami hangover lasts these days? Like, this is really...
Hold on. We're going to talk about that in a little bit. Jokic 14-1. Embiid 16-1. LeBron and Kawhi are both 8-1.
Wait, did you say Embiid 16-1?
Yeah.
Oh, we have to hit pause. I gotta call somebody.
It's also 16 probably the number of games he's gonna miss this year.
Well, I mean, this is the thing. So what? That makes him pari passu with his peers.
How about our boy Luka at 25-1?
Nah, I mean, he's fine. I like Luka. Don't think that I don't like Luka. Don't misunderstand.
He's going to average like a 29, 9, and 9 this year.
It's wonderful. It's wonderful. He is a wonderful addition.
The dumbass Atlanta fans still are like, well, we got Trae Young. It's like, you lost out on a 2 to 3 time MVP. You did not win the trade. Enjoy Trae Young. He's great.
He is
really fun.
He's fun.
Fun guy to have on your team.
Him.
You didn't get an MVP out of it.
Yeah, Luka's.
It's a tough one. Luka is a generational player.
That's true.
Luka and Giannis will be the two best guys in the league in like 3 years.
I don't have a rebuttal.
Siakam is 50-1.
He could be 5,000 to 1.
I'm just pointing it out.
Okay.
50-1. Why aren't you more excited about Luka? That offends me.
They have a little bit of ways to go yet. I mean, they really asking a lot out of the Zinger, and so far we've seen a kind of the tentative Zinger. You know, like his fate is not in his own hands. That's all. That's the reason for my tempered enthusiasm for him as an MVP candidate. MVP of the league. You can't win 43 games.
No,
and win
he'd have
MVP.
to get to 50.
So they're not going to get to 50. Not with this version of Zinger. That's all.
These are all fair points. I think Giannis plus 225. AD, if he could play all 6 months, is in play. Because that Lakers team, I mean, no surprise, but guess what? When him and LeBron are both healthy and playing, it's really good.
And motivated. That's been the most impressive thing to me. Is that
Can
motivation.
we talk about Dwight really quick, and then we'll take a break? The Laker fans are getting a little frisky about Dwight. Russillo and I said before the year we were laughing. I think you were on that pod where we were like, nothing's going to be funnier than the Lakers fans talking themselves into Dwight. And Dwight's been good these first 2 weeks for him. The stats have been good. Eye test looks okay.
Sure,
I mean,
yeah.
still looks a little stiff, but it athletically,
You look good.
athletically better than we expected. I am not abandoning Dwight Howard is going to disappoint this entire fan base island.
You're not going to engage in a little premature congratulation?
No.
You're not ready?
I'm not going to do
for
that.
a premature congratulation
No.
at this stage with the D. Howard, the Dwight?
I'm going to take into account the last 4 years, if that's okay.
4 years feels like 40. Let's be honest.
I'm also going to
when
take
was
into
the last
account.
relevant Dwight Howard moment?
So 2015 playoffs.
Okay.
They almost made the finals.
That's
So
4
that
years.
was 4.5 years ago.
That's right.
I think physically I don't trust it. He has a way of just wearing on teammates that's really historic for his generation. Every generation has 2 or 3 guys that as soon as they leave, the stories just start coming out that the teammates couldn't wait for him to go.
Now, in that respect, it does seem like out of all the possibilities in terms of teams and the chemistry and who's the alpha and the beta and the whatever C is, I don't think he really has a lot of leash with this team. Like LeBron and AD are not going to tolerate too much nonsense.
It is a perfect situation for somebody with his skill set that he used to have and might still have flashes of. Because he's playing on the baseline, but he's smart enough to read when he should roll to the basket. And LeBron is finding him for these little sneaky dunks. I just feel like it's going to be hilarious when the Laker fans like, oh man, I can't believe we fell for that.
Well, honestly, I think he is going to play well. I absolutely agree with your assessment that he's in the very best possible situation. It's a mature team. It's a team that knows how to play.
Wait a second. It sounds like you're starting to think he's going to be good for them.
No, here's what's going to happen. He's going to get hurt. I mean,
yeah.
This is what happens with Dwight Howard. I was bullish on him. We sat in Las Vegas, Nevada in the summer of 2018
with the Wiz?
At Caesars, and the Wiz had just acquired him, and I was looking at the 2018-2019 season and asking smart basketball people around us. We were with Daryl Morey, we were with H-Bob, and like, why can't this Wizards team work? And then Dwight played 9 games for him, and my man John Wall got hurt, and it was all over. But, like, on the face of it.
Yeah, I mean, who could have saw that coming?
But the reason that Howard didn't work is because he got hurt. He had some kind of, glute / lower back / leg injury thing that kept him from playing, 73 games.
It sounds like you're pro Dwight.
No, I think
I need a break to recover from this. All right, we're back. Want to hit a couple quick NBA things. It's early, but I do think we can start getting a feel for who the worst teams in the league are.
Sure.
And right now, this would be my list. The 4th worst team is the Memphis Grizzlies, who I like. They're 2-5 right now as we're taping this. I do like them. I think they have players I like. Ja Morant, Triple J. I'm in. When they're on League Pass, and if it's a 4th quarter, I'll be like, all right, I'm going to step in with these guys. The foundation's there, but that doesn't mean that they're going to, they're in a brutal conference. And I think they will be a bottom 14.
Well, they kicked Minnesota's ass last night. I mean, we don't have to go crown Minnesota quite yet. Minnesota did have Karl Anthony Towns. I'll remind you, he played last night.
I know.
And Memphis beat their ass. They scored 36 points in the fourth quarter.
You love taking town shots.
Well, I just, play defense in the fourth quarter. It's a winnable game against one of the four worst teams in the league. Bill Simmons said so.
Third worst team, not right now, but they will be, is Cleveland. They're 2-5. I like the way the Celtics played them the other night, and they really came at them, and Love and Thompson were good in that game. They're going to trade Love.
That makes sense.
This is all leading toward them.
That's what they should do.
Swapping Love to a team that, A, wants him, and B, is panicking a little bit, like the Portland Trail Brothers. But I think the one thing that's jumped out with me with them is they seem well coached, which makes sense because they went and got a real coach.
Yeah.
But they just have a nice vibe to them. But as soon as they trade Love, that falls apart. Second worst team is Golden State.
Yep.
They're 2-6. They have the worst roster in the league. They just do.
Yeah, there's no arguing this point. I don't.
Yeah.
I'm not.
The infrastructure will do some stuff, but when I was trying to make the list of the worst four, I was stunned how easily Golden State slotted into the 2 spot. They're going to get a top 5 pick. Now, everybody's saying this is a really weird draft. People, a couple of our Ringer people have compared it to the 2013 draft, which I actually did. That was the Anthony Bennett draft.
Yeah. Oh,
and it turned out to have really good players, but they went. McCollum went, I think, 10th. Giannis went 13th, et cetera, et cetera. And I think the Knicks are the worst team in the league.
Yeah. Can't argue it.
What's interesting is from a talent standpoint, they aren't.
They should be better than like Charlotte, for instance.
It's just a horrendously put together team. We said this during the summer. Do you need Bobby Portis and Marcus Morris and Taj Gibson and Julius Randle? Who does this?
It's really
There's
weird.
There's no roadmap to this ever making sense, ever.
Unless the plan is to sabotage the season, in which case, congratulations, they've self-sabotaged once again.
But if you're going to sabotage the season, don't sign anybody and just keep your cap space.
But no, none of those guys, only Randall has any duration to his deal, right?
Yeah, but you're bringing in a bunch of people that you're paying who 2 of those people are going to be unhappy at all times because you can't play all of them.
I feel like it was not – I mean, the Dennis Smith Jr. thing is a whole other world.
They should trade in this summer.
Of discussion. I don't think it was like it's a terrible idea experiment-wise to bring in a few guys that have been in the league with R.J. Barrett just to see what R.J. Barrett's going to show.
Well, here's the thing. He's the only guy that matters on this whole team.
That's right.
I like Frankie Smokes, and I think Kevin Knox, would definitely not give up on him. RJ's good.
We agree with this.
We thought this last spring.
Yeah.
I never gave up hope. I couldn't believe people were bummed out when like the Knicks fans were like, oh, man, we ended up with R.J. Barrett. It's like, yeah, that's great. That's a big win for you. You should be happy. Summer League, he wasn't good in like 2 games. We were like, oh, man, this sucks. R.J. Barrett's good. R.J. Barrett will have a long career. I'm not positive he's an all-NBA guy, but he's definitely a really good scorer playmaker.
Building block guy.
Yeah.
We're in agreement on this.
I was really impressed I watched the whole Celtics-Knicks game, and he didn't even play that well in that game, but his feel he's very confident. Like, he'll take it in the basket, and he's not like frantic rookie guy. He's like he's bouncing off people. He's moving.
Yeah.
I like him.
The knock that he had, and because we watched it, was, the inability to be effective at the end of games with games on the line for Duke. But I think ultimately that's kind of like a thing about Duke and about college basketball. Like,
yeah, and just the rhythm of college.
Exactly. He's like a professional player waiting to bust out is what that I think we've seen now.
And no shooters.
These first games.
But yeah, college is like nobody can get in a rhythm of a college game. There's a timeout every 2.5 minutes.
Yeah, plus the foul call thing is a debacle.
I have never been less into a college basketball season. This is my number one.
Is this a hot
all-time? I could care less. The Celtics don't have they're not going to get the Memphis pick this year. There's not like signature dudes to watch yet. I just don't care.
Okay.
And these guys they're in and out of your lives in 4 months.
It's
like, hey, here's somebody. Oh, now he's gone. He's going to the NBA.
It's November, so there's still
Sorry, Kyle. Earmuffs, Kyle.
I'm okay.
A couple more overreactions. 17-day overreactions. Devin Booker.
Uh-huh.
He's a member of the 50-50-90 club right now. I mean, it's only 2 weeks in. But he was awesome. The Suns are 5-2. They had a nice win over Philly, which I watched. No Embiid. The Aaron Baines and Ricky Rubio, two professional dudes who know what they're doing. Now, they're playing Baines 35 minutes a game, which is not sustainable. He's an 18-minute-a-game guy.
That's right.
But they actually have guys who know where to go and what to do, and it's help Booker. What's funny, though, is the Suns fans seem to think that I'm not a Booker guy. Like when I had the whole thing this summer where I was mad that he wasn't on the World Championship.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, I'm mad that he's not on Team USA because I think he's really good and we need him. How does that go to me not being a Devin Booker guy? It's like, I'm really upset he's not on our team. He'd be our best player. Am I a dick for thinking that?
I think people, I can't get in the head of the Twitterati.
Well, the Twitterati.
But I think it was, he made a decision like a lot of guys did about his own health and his own, what was going to put him in the best position to be successful this NBA season. And then, Tatum did play for Team USA and got hurt. And you expressed some regret about him being in that position. We were really worried about his injury. Did you express a lot of concern about the injury?
I was just worried. I thought he broke his ankle.
I understand. That's right.
I'm still glad he played. It really helped
ruined
him.
The season.
It helped
ruin the Celtics season.
I am just telling you, Tatum and Jalen and Marcus Smart and Kemba all being on that team, even though they got their asses kicked, was great for the Celtics. All of those guys came in at a whole other level, and I don't think it would have hurt Booker. But the funny thing is, that's my opinion. I have an opinion on this. And then the great thing about the internet is then people have opinions on your opinion.
Sure.
And then
that's how it works.
I am now countering with an opinion on their opinion of my opinion.
I can't. My brain is not smart enough to understand what's going on here.
I really like Devin Booker.
Yeah.
I wish he had been on Team USA. It didn't work out. Now the Suns are 5-2.
This is the best point guard he's played with in his entire life.
Yeah.
I think
he's another guy. Like, who knows how long he's going to stay healthy?
Who? Rubio? Yeah.
Rubio's beard, I've got a lot of issues with.
I just really like that.
Did you see his beard?
I haven't seen him. All of his hair. He always does weird things.
He's got like the thickest beard I think anybody's had. It's really, it's disarming.
Good
I don't
for
totally
him.
understand it.
He looks thicker than Harden.
He looks like one of the dudes in Alive. Remember that movie?
Yeah.
They rugby plane crashes and they have to eat each other?
Yeah.
He looks like he's been in day 35 on the Alive plane. Well, I don't get it.
By the way, he's the one that's getting eaten, if there's any doubt.
Yeah. Ricky Rubio.
Yeah.
He would be your first. If the Suns playing, he would be the first guy?
Yeah. Easy.
That's a tough one.
Not a big dude.
The worst thing, if you were on the Live plane, you would have been hungry within 2 days.
I mean, this is the thing. Like, I got to eat.
Yeah, you would have been like,
what do you want me to do? Ricky, come here. We're going to go get some water.
I know Bob just died, but...
Come on, Ricky, we're getting some water.
I know Bob just died, but who's hungry? Should we carve him up?
If we cook him now...
Make a stew?
We can, cure it. We can hang the strips. Oh, that's terrible. I don't want to talk this way.
Another 17-day overreact. Well, listen... the aggregators can now say Simmons and friend joke about eating Ricky Rubio on BS podcast. House says
I have to shave him first.
House says he would be first choice. Another overreaction that I actually don't think is an overreaction. I think we have 5 legitimately good East teams.
5?
Yeah.
Okay.
Milwaukee, Philly.
Yes.
Those are the 2 OGs. I think the Celtics are good.
Okay, go ahead.
I just think they're good. I think that the slash and kick, I think they have a lot of offense, and Hayward's back. He's Utah Hayward again. I'm telling you. He's back.
All right.
You loved Gordon Hayward 3 years ago.
I did.
He's back.
Then he suffered a catastrophic injury.
Yeah, and it took him 2 years, and now he's back.
Okay.
He's doing Gordon Hayward stuff again. I would throw in Toronto.
Yeah. Out of respect. Defending
I just think they're good.
They are good. They're smart. They play smart.
They lost Kawhi, but Siakam made a leap. And Van Vliet is better this year than he was last year.
Yeah.
They have OGs in there now. Like they just
and Lowry's still doing Lowry things.
A little swagger.
He's smart. They're smart. Smart basketball team.
Continuity, House.
I agree with this.
Continuity matters. These guys have been together for a few years now, and I think it's an advantage. And then I'm a Miami guy.
Yeah, okay.
I know they got their ass kicked the other night, but I just think that's a team that's going to be in the high 40s and has a trade to make.
Okay, that's fine. If those are the qualifications for good, for fitting in the good category, then I'm not going to argue.
I just like their players.
They're not that good, but they're fine.
I like their players.
Me too. They're going to be fun to watch.
We have money in them.
We do. I don't want to talk about it.
We actually did well in our future bets.
We haven't done anything. They only played 8 games. Nothing's happened.
No, but
Let's not talk about it.
But I'm used to doing future bets with you where 8 games into the season, I'm already like discounting the money.
We've already lost.
The Celtics 67 wins.
I do feel pretty good that we're going to win the Golden State under. That one I feel like it's okay to talk about. Under 47.5.
No, it was 48.5.
Well, I didn't. I got in late. I got in at 47.5.
Jesus.
But still, that under is going to be a good one.
Well, we also have Golden State and Indiana to miss the playoffs 32-1.
That one I'm not talking about because Indiana's good enough to make the playoffs in the East. They're absolutely unequivocally good enough to make the playoffs in the East.
It's
TJ Warren.
Well, that's the thing. The Suns, they still have no bench.
Yeah.
But the TJ Warren trade, I never understood that one. They
Still
just kind of
don't get
gave
it.
him away. I guess they needed to create cap space to sign Kelly Oubre, and that's how they got Baines and all that. I get all of it, but you can go to him in the last 2 minutes of a game, and he can actually get a basket. There's the list of guys you could say that about is not high.
I don't think I appreciated
40.
his size. I watched a good amount of the Wiz against the Pacers last night. He's big. He's a big boy. He moves good.
My most shocking thing is that Charlotte isn't terrible.
Well,
I don't think they're one of the worst 4 teams.
I'm with you. I
love this Devontae Graham.
That's right.
I don't ever remember even thinking about this guy last year.
I just love that strategy. We're going to go shoot 33s a game.
Yeah.
And we're going to sometimes get our asses handed to us, and sometimes we're going to make half, and we can win those games. I love that strategy.
We're going to take a break, and we're going to do $1 million picks. All right, we're in some trouble with $1 million picks. We had the Colts last week, and I think we would have won, and Jacoby got hurt. And that was our biggest bet of the year, $700,000.
Oh,
Jacoby
I forgot
gets
that.
hurt.
Eesh.
On top of that, the Colts have a chance to win the game. They get a first down. They're in the 28. They basically go sideways for 3 downs, and then Vinatieri shanks one. One of the worst kicks I've ever seen in a game. The fucking guy doesn't have the laces in the right spot. Vinatieri almost like his body convulsed. It was like he keeled over.
Well,
Kyle and I had a whole conversation about whether Belichick was asking him to tank the Colts games because the Pats wanted to bring him back. Kyle still thinks that, I think.
I think he handed Kansas City a loss when he got rid of Jacoby. He knew it was happened 2 years ago.
So we got to win some back. We lost $652,000 last week.
Feels like a big loss.
We're down $1.157 million for the season, but I feel like we can win all of this back. First game. I've watched a shocking amount of Tampa Bay Bucs games this year, mostly on offense because I have their 2 receivers, Godwin and Evans.
Yes.
And Evans has been just flat out incredible.
Yes.
Tampa is a very entertaining 2-6. They've been in these games for the most part. They've just been kind of, I don't want to say they could be 5-3, but I think they could easily be 4-4. Remember, they lose that stupid Giants game in week 3. They were in it with the Tennessee game that they squandered. And then they lose in Seattle in OT last week. Those were all like either or games.
Yes.
So here's the other thing with them that I think is fascinating, and I didn't even know until I was researching this. They've only played 2 home games.
This is them and the Raiders have been on these insane 5-game road trip things.
Yeah.
What's going on in the NFL?
So far this year, they've played in Los Angeles, Seattle, and London.
How is that fair?
That's fucking brutal.
How is that even?
All of those places are 3,000 miles or more away from Tampa Bay.
Right.
So their schedule actually gets a lot easier, but they had the 4th hardest schedule by DVOA, and that's even before you work into the whole every week they've been playing somewhere else. They have 18 turnovers this year, which is not in my opinion, a sustainable number. I think a couple of them have been fluke.
In your opinion?
Fluky.
Oh, you're saying at that rate of turnover, that's not the sustainable part.
2+ turnovers a game is pretty atypical. They're only 18th in DVOA. I thought that number was going to be lower. Arizona, who they're playing this week, is 26th. Arizona is the 3rd rushing offense in DVOA. Tampa has the number 1 run defense by DVOA.
Huh.
Arizona has the 28th passing defense by DVOA.
Oh, God.
Arizona's 3 wins this year are Cincinnati, the Giants, and the Falcons.
Losers.
Those are 3 of the worst 5 teams in the league.
Yes.
And I don't know. This to me feels like a big Tampa win followed by people going, oh, like Jameis has been pretty good the last few weeks. Like I guarantee if you look in your fantasy league, he's probably starting for whoever has him this week.
The only thing I can say to you in terms of a tap the brakes.
Is fucking Jameis Winston's involved?
Yes.
Oh, I left out one other thing. Bruce Arians' revenge game.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. Them carrying Bruce off the field after he beats the Cardinals.
I just wish it was 3 or 3.5 at
I'm not
most.
thinking about that.
I'm
so tired of backing off of bets because of the points. This is part of the reason we haven't done well
and
enough
you're
this
not
year.
concerned that the Cardinals have had
The cheap touchdown.
Well, and they had the extra rest because they played the Thursday game, and didn't they look pretty good against San Francisco? They were never really they
looked okay.
They looked okay. They were competent. They looked
all right. So we could do money line. It's -4.5. It's -220 for the Bucs money line. The over/under is 52.5.
See, I would much rather. This is what I would do. If it was my $1 million,
Yep.
I would bet whatever we agree upon on the Tampa money line plus the over, because I just think this is going to be
win with overs though.
It's fine. I'm just telling you that's, and I'm sure the over is the squarest bet on the board. But I just see this as one of those 42 to 38 games, one of those kind of games.
I have one other option for you. Tampa money line -220 with the Baltimore money line, which is -525. And the Saints money line against Atlanta, which is -700. That parlay is -102.
Oh, we got to even money.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Want to do that?
Yeah, but let's not go huge on it.
Okay.
I'm worried about Baltimore. I don't love teams that haven't won a game coming in off of a bye week.
Yeah, but that doesn't.
In a trap
the game could be
kind of thing.
closer than we thought, but they're not going to lose.
It doesn't
to Cincinnati.
feel like they are, but how many people last week thought that Green Bay was going to lose to the Chargers?
True. All right, so
or that the Cowboys were going to lose to the Jets.
That's -102. Hold that thought. Second one, the Miami-Indianapolis line is just way too high.
It's too high.
It's the dumbest line of the week. I almost can't believe it. Miami is getting 10.5 points in Indianapolis. We love the Colts. They've been very good to us until last week's catastrophe. People don't use catastrophe enough with gambling. I would say Jacoby getting hurt in the first quarter and them losing to that stupid Pittsburgh team that doesn't even have a quarterback. Borderline catastrophe.
Yeah.
Miami's, I think people are still in the mindset that they're horrendous, and they're just not.
Well, I will say this week, folks are finally taking note. They've covered the last 4 games, and I believe the majority of the money so far that's been bet on this game is on the points with Miami. I think the public is finally catching on.
Washington, they lose by 1, where they actually went for 2 to win it. They didn't get it. At Buffalo, 31-21, and they were in that game, and that actually was a 3-point game, and then the onside kick touchdown for the crazy cover.
Yeah.
Pittsburgh was 27-14 on a Monday night. They were up 14-0, and then that game just got weird.
Yeah.
But they hung around that one, I thought, and then they beat the Jets last week, 26-18, and the Jets fans were upset about how devastating and just what an awful loss. And I was like, Miami actually kind of played better than you guys,
right?
So I look at this, and is there a way to take advantage of the fact that Miami's last 7 games totals 43, 37, 40, 33, 52, 41, 44.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have the Colts, who aren't going to have Jacoby Brissett, who don't have T.Y. Hilton. You have a T.Y. Hilton stat.
I do have a T.Y. Hilton stat. Since he, over the last 2 years as a starter for the Indianapolis Colts, when he misses a game, they are winless. They are 0-6, I believe.
And you can feel it. We've watched a lot of Colts this year. You can feel it when he's not out there. It's rough. So my thought is the 10.5 is great. A tease would be even greater.
Mm-hmm.
If you can get that to, if you throw them in a 10-point tease, you have Miami getting 20.5.
Wow. And
you could make the under 54. So they'd have to score 55 points. What are the odds those two teams could get to 55 points, not to mention the bad field goal kicking?
How expensive is that teaser?
Well, it would just be a 3-team, 10-team teaser. You'd have to find a third team.
Okay.
But you could also do a 2-team 7-point teaser, bring the Miami to 17.5, and you could bring the over-under to 51.
I like that one. Let's do that one.
You like that one?
Yes. And it's not disrespectful to the Colts. Like, we really, I think at this stage of the game, can hold ourselves out as Colts experts. I mean, we've bet on them nearly every week. We really know the rhythm of what they're capable of. Every single game they've played in the 2019-20 football season has been decided by one score or less. So, putting in a wager that requires a three-score W plus the totals that you just went through, this is just a sound way of generating a little return on investment as far as I'm concerned.
So the 7-point tease is minus 130, isn't it?
I don't know. You have the odds up.
Yeah, it's minus 130. So that's a key point with Indianapolis about the under, the rhythm of how they play. It's a very methodical team.
Yes.
They take their time. It's 30, 35 seconds on the play clock. It's handoffs. It's play action. And they're just a really careful team. It's not like, we're going no huddle. We're going to really up the pace on Miami. And I just think this is going to be an ugly game more than anything. So if we do a 2-point, 7-point, that would be Miami to 17.5, and then the under to 51.
Okay.
That's minus 130.
Okay.
So you like that?
Yeah, I do.
Okay. Cowboys -3 against Minnesota. Can I make the case?
I have one thing in mind that tilts me one particular direction. I'm eager to hear the case.
Minnesota might be the good bad team.
Oh.
They beat Atlanta. They beat Oakland. That's their best win probably. They beat New York, the Giants. They beat Philly.
Uh-huh. I think Philly's their best win.
They beat Detroit. They beat Washington.
Uh-huh.
They lost to Green Bay. They scored 6 points against Chicago. And they lost to Kansas City and Matt Moore, who was teaching phys ed like 3 weeks ago. Those are their wins.
Yes. You like that?
I don't like that much.
You don't like that.
Here's the other thing. It's weirdly a must-win for Dallas. They're 5-3. Philly's 5-4. And Dallas' schedule is about to get harder. Dallas is plus 85 for the year right now. Offensively, they have the number one offense at DVOA, which I did not realize. And the line's only 3. Here's the other thing. No Adam Thielen, who I just feel like they fall apart when he's not out there. He's like the 3rd and 7 guy for them. So could they just slow down Dalvin Cook and let Kirk make a mistake? Then that's the other thing. Kirk Cousins.
There you go.
You get Kirk Cousins.
This is the angle.
Guess what? It's a Sunday night game for Kirk Cousins.
You said it. And not only that, it's against a team with a winning record. Like 2 humongous Kirk Cousins bugaboos.
How do we not put money on that?
Yeah, this is why I'm going from strong lean to lock. We got to play Dallas this week.
Okay. And then you had one. You had the Rams.
I like the Rams -4 at Pittsburgh. The Steelers are 1-4 this season against teams with a winning record. Now, Micah Fitzpatrick has been really good. He has been impactful. He has helped that defense. Their defense looks very good right now.
Yeah.
They have done a good job against the teams since Mr. Fitzpatrick has joined them of holding teams below their average scoring and average total yards. But their offense is terrible.
It's really even the craziest Steeler fans I know, and I know a few, unfortunately for me, all of them are like, yeah, Mason Rudolph's not good.
They can't generate sustainable drives. They're the average scoring drive for the Pittsburgh Steelers so far this season is just a little over 44 yards. Now, and so that's first in the league. That's tops in the leagues in terms of the length of drive for that produces a score. That's a direct relationship, bears a direct correlation to the turnovers that their defense is generating. They are way below average at drives that start where normal drives begin the opponent's 25-yard line. I mean, their own 25-yard line, having to go the length of the field. They're bottom 5 in the NFL in that category. So I just like the Rams, who've had all of this time. They're coming off the bye week. They are in a position here where they can pick up. They're going to pick up a game on either Seattle or San Francisco because those teams are facing each other. The Rams can't afford to lose this game. They have to win this game to get to 6-3 and position themselves for both the playoffs and potentially the NFC West. I really feel like anything under a touchdown to me for the Rams feels like value, and I love the Rams.
So the fear would be Jared Goff outdoors.
That's it.
In a location where the fans are rooting for the other team. No Brandon Cooks. We might not see Brandon Cooks again this year. And that's it. But I actually think the Rams defense can win this game. And to your point, if the Rams win this game, they're 6-3. They're home for Chicago, home for Baltimore next 2 weeks, at Arizona, home Seattle, at Dallas, at San Francisco, home Arizona.
That's a hard.
Those are three
of hard games.
1, 2, 4 really hard games.
Yeah.
So this is like, if they lose this game, they're fucked.
They're fucked. Their season's over.
Well, what about this? Tampa and the Rams money lines together is plus 118.
That's pretty good. I like that.
So we could do that over Tampa, Baltimore, New Orleans.
Yeah, because I mean, we could also lose that, but I like it.
All right, here's what we're doing. $1 million picks. Week 10?
10?
Yeah. Cowboys -3. Must-win game. More importantly, a must-lose game on a Sunday night for the king of losing night games on television, Kirk Cousins.
And going up against a winning team, he does not like that.
Chris Collinsworth going, Al, I've just never seen anything like this. This guy in a night game on TV, I just don't understand it, Al. I just don't understand it.
That's your Collinsworth?
Yeah, I tried.
That's a little Bradshaw.
Sorry, I tried. $500K on the Cowboys -3. Lots of shots of Jerry Jones awkwardly high-fiving his son and whoever else is in there. Let's do 300 on Tampa and the Rams. The money line's plus 118.
I like that. Feels positive. Feels like a way to generate a little revenue.
Yeah. And then finally, we will risk 260 to win 200 on Miami plus 17.5. 7-point tees with the under to 51.
I'm going to really bet this with my own money.
You're going to bet? You want to put more money on it?
Well, I'm going to put my own money on that. I really like that bet.
All right, well, I'll do 360 then. I'll do 360 to win 300 on that.
Great.
So there we go. Cowboys -3, 500. Rams, Bucs, money parlay, 300 at plus 118. And then we have I can't believe we're betting on the Dolphins. Dolphins plus 17.5 with the under of 51 in that game.
Fitzmagic!
$360K to win 300 on that one. There you go, Joe Haas. All right, we're going to take a break. We're going to bring the Mother Dragons in. All right, Mallory is here. We do Mallory's Most Intriguing every week. You can also hear on the Binge Mode Star Wars podcast.
Indeed.
Have you enraged Star Wars Nation yet?
You know, I don't want to jinx it.
Hasn't happened yet.
It's been...
Yet.
Yet is the operative word. I definitely took a lot of heat for my movie power rankings and where I had Last Jedi. But aside from that, I would say that people have been quite kind and encouraging and receptive.
Yeah.
And it's been going well so far. I hope it continues to go well. I just remind everyone that our common ground is that we love this thing, and it's okay if we don't agree on every single aspect of it. That's fine.
That's how I feel about Devin Booker.
Well,
I missed that conversation.
I
love Devin
admire the effort on the Jar Jar Binks because that's an execrable character to me.
Yeah.
But it was a kind treatment. It was a thoughtful treatment.
Thank
It's
you.
exactly what you would expect out of binge mode. I shouldn't act like I'm surprised.
That's really
I would
nice.
just say, "Oh, here's the Jar Jar Binks episode." Okay, that one's over. Let's go on to the next one.
We try to understand.
I know. I love it. I
thank
love
you.
it. It's part of the
It's really
charm.
nice.
Well, you guys are America's favorite platonic couple. It's nice to get you in the same room. You have all the same interests.
Well, I'm gonna.
I just made fun of House for winning for DC being the junior heavyweight city of champions.
It's an
Oh my
outrage.
Winning
goodness.
all titles in sports that America kind of cares about, but not totally.
It's ridiculous.
Baseball, hockey, WNBA.
You know how I
We
feel
c-
about
we-
DC sports.
Team tennis, we couldn't remember if they won that one. Lacrosse, I don't think that season's over yet.
Well, I mean, lacrosse is Baltimore sport fully. So
That's
Yeah,
a great
that's true.
point.
come on.
Yeah, that's
Yes.
Did you tell him that I sent you an emergency text message late last night about the Jenny's holiday ice creams?
Wait, what?
true. Oh, yeah.
Oh, I haven't seen or heard this yet.
This is
Yeah.
a crucial moment.
All right, here are the flavors, House. These are the holiday flavors. Mallory texted this to me and Jeff Chow last night.
Yeah.
And Jeff Chow's response was, "You have a sickness,"
Yeah,
which I thought was kind of mean.
I mean,
it was hurtful.
Jeff can be mean sometimes.
Jeff is very supportive in general, and I'm grateful for his encouragement.
Cognac and gingerbread pint.
Hell yeah.
I don't want to make this all about me. I just want to express like the tiniest bit of disappointment that I wasn't just included in this
Yeah, I
text.
don't know why-
I knew you
It's
were
okay.
poised for travel.
I was late. I was
had to
I was
focus?
asleep. It's true. I was
Boo-
on the couch.
Boozy eggnog pint,
Yes.
which I think is. Oh, I should just say boozy eggnog.
All of those words are foreplay.
Is
Boozy
it-
eggnog, which is the sequel to load management.
Is it really? Can we tell Mallory?
No, hold on, hold that thought.
Your research. Okay, but look.
I researched whether there had ever been a porn movie called Load Management, and the answer was no.
That's not true. There's no
There
way
has
that's
to
possible.
have
there
been.
wasn't. I looked.
She agrees.
There
I
has to have
searched.
I
been.
mean, we
couldn't
believe
find
you.
it.
I'm not
sure
doubting
Peter
you. It
North.
just seems so unlikely.
There
Sweet
must have been.
potato with torched marshmallows.
Yeah.
So good.
Torch.
White chocolate peppermint. That was my wife's favorite on this list.
Soothing.
This is my favorite. Whiskey and pecans.
Whiskey and
great one. They
pecans is
bring
an
it
OG.
back.
It's an OG.
Yeah.
We've had
And
it.
darkest
We've
chocolate.
been there. And
I
darkest
like the
chocolate
whiskey and
also.
pecans because I do feel like they put real alcohol in it.
Oh, absolutely.
Like if you
Absolutely.
eat a whole pint of that, you are feeling a little funny after. Just a tiny bit.
But in a good way. Delicious.
Right.
All right, you do your most intriguing.
Yeah.
I think this is the first time I ever requested a topic from you.
It's the second time.
Second time? Okay. Second time. Over. All right, so Mallory does
Yeah.
most intriguing every week. Were we going from 5 to 1 or 1 to 5?
Let's go from 5 to 1.
Okay.
Well, it's really up to you. What
You-
order
it's
do
up
you
to
want to
you.
go in?
It's
What
up
was
to
the
you.
topic that Billy BS sent you? Are we saving it?
The topic that he sent me, I have at number 3 today, right in the middle.
Okay,
for
that's
what-
fine. So
All right, start with number 5.
yeah, I
Number
like that.
5.
By the way,
every-
we haven't really interacted since the Ravens-Pats game, and she's been very kind about it.
Hold on. We haven't really interacted. You've
mean, like,
been ducking me
face to
all
face.
week. As Kyle can tell you, because I literally accosted him on the street and made him take selfies with me as he shielded his face. I came into work on Monday, decked out, head to toe, in Ravens regalia, waiting to take an embarrassing picture with you and post it on Instagram. Couldn't find you. I sent you a text message right after the game. You responded, "On to Philadelphia," which I do not think is a response you would have accepted from me had the circumstances been reversed.
Listen.
You did not respond to my tweet.
The only thing I'll say is,
I don't care about early November. I don't celebrate Super Bowl parades in November 3rd. That's my
Let
counter.
me enjoy this now.
Yeah, I let
Yeah.
you enjoy it. I didn't say anything.
I
was so psyched that everybody buried the Pats. I was like, that was the
Nobody-
biggest win of all
That's
time for
absurd.
us.
That's an absurd
Nobody's
straw
doing
man.
that.
Nobody's doing that.
Baltimore.
Thank you.
Preposterous
Straw
thing.
man, exactly. Who's burying the
outrageous.
Pats?
Somebody did.
No
Nobody
one.
did. Nobody did.
By the way, I found a second person who didn't think Lamar Jackson could make it as a quarterback. Because everyone always blames Bill Polian for this. Booger
Sure.
McFarland
That's
was
right.
the other one.
That's right.
He said Louisville should convert him to
Move him
wide
to receiver.
receiver
Yeah, that's
to give him
tough.
a better chance.
All those receipts came out. All those receipts were on the table on Monday.
That's
So
very
when
tough.
so when people talk about all the people who thought Lamar couldn't play quarterback, it's basically Bill Polian, who's 145 years old, and Booger McFarland, who we get to hear every week on Monday night, and I'll rest my case on that one.
Well, I think it wasn't just about the people who overtly said he should play running back or he should play receiver. It was the way that once he actually was out there on the field, so much of the way people assessed his play was charged in some way.
Yeah.
This is also true after that playoff game, that playoff loss last season. This is how I
This is great.
this is how I
Great
do
vibe
every
from
single
you.
podcast.
Yeah.
I rest the stand on my belly because this way I know I won't forget. I've been known in the past to like start talking or whatever with the phone or whatever the hookup is in Washington D.C.
Yeah.
And I forget that there's a microphone I'm supposed to speak into. If it's on my
Oh.
belly, there's no chance of me
Interesting.
forgetting. And it's very comfortable.
Yeah.
As you can see. Anyway, that playoff loss last year to remind me. Chargers? Who'd they lose to?
Chargers.
The Ravens or Chargers, yeah.
yes.
Who
They
then
had,
got
had
there.
beaten
With-
them a few weeks prior.
It validated all that Lamar skepticism.
Absolutely did not.
No, I'm saying in the Twitter sphere.
For the skeptics,
the
felt
Twitterati,
validated.
all came out. Oh, see, the point has been proven. He can't throw the ball if he's not running. If you can't get him going with the run, he
That
can't
was
throw.
actually the
They
worst
dared
of
him to
Twitter in
throw.
two ways, because it was the anti-Lamar, and then it was the pro-Lamar doing the he's okay, he's fine, and it was like he sucked in the game, but that didn't really have to mean anything. He just had a really bad game. That was my argument to you. It was like he sucked. Let's move on. Doesn't mean his career's over.
I think that's reductive, but we don't need to litigate the
What's
past.
reductive? He sucked.
It
He
was-
sucked in the game.
They didn't sufficiently adjust the game plan to face a team they had beaten mere weeks prior. That won't happen again. The coaching this season has been incredible. Harbaugh's ready every week.
Now defend Kendall Roy shitting in his own bed.
I will.
Well,
he had an active night,
He did
met
have
a
an
new
active
woman,
night.
He
He
didn't.
did.
all
he
sorts
didn't want to
of new
make it to the toilet.
sensations. Had to listen to his brother embarrass the family by talking about the Electric Circus, a novel that doesn't exist.
Let me ask
The
this.
dinner table?
Since when is shitting in the bed indefensible? Why does anybody have to defend it?
Frankly, we should just be congratulating him because they fucked in the helicopter previously, and he waited to embarrass himself until he had removed himself from the company of another human being.
I don't even
Admirable
think he was
restraint.
embarrassed. He's like, I gotta go. Gotta go where I gotta go. It's indicative of his disdain for all norms and societal constraints.
Did
Don't
you
care.
see the video of Lamar seeing Tom Brady before the game?
No, I haven't seen
And
this.
after the
And
game.
then
That was-
after the game?
That was nice.
Tom Brady came up to him because he loves to do this with the up-and-comers. He butters them
Mm-hmm.
up early so they feel bad. This is a Scott Van Pelt move, too. Basically. gives a little head. Hey,
What,
hey,
you get
man,
the
hey,
Scott
hey.
Van Pelt treatment?
Huh? No, I think it's smart.
Okay.
Gets in early.
Yeah.
But Lamar was very nice and said twice, "Goat." That's a goat right there.
Yeah.
It was great. It
He's right.
was really emotional.
It is the GOAT. What was the after game one? Same thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was sweet. He really admires Brady. He's talked about it many times.
I think if you're going most likable quarterback, just from press conferences and NFL Films interactions, he's
Patrick
probably
Mahomes,
number one.
one.
No, I have Lamar over
No,
Mahomes.
come on. It's definitely
and,
Lamar.
and Aaron Rodgers last. Aaron Rodgers. He's not. I don't think he's a dick in real life, but in the football NFL Films version of Aaron Rodgers, he just seems kind of like precious.
Lamar
love
is
it. I
very
enjoy it.
charmingly forthright in his interviews. Really just says what's on his mind. Wears wonderful T-shirts.
He's happy.
He's
There's
living
There's
in the
a
moment.
joy to him that
There
I
is a
really
joy to him.
It's
appreciate.
infectious.
Let's
It's
hope
infectious.
that he runs a little bit less. I don't want any of that joy to get caught in a
Oh my
an
God.
awkward turn
Stop
ankle.
it.
along
He
the
reminds
way.
Don't
me.
even say
House
anything
and I have been
like that.
watching 2012 OKC games for this
Yeah.
this podcast we're taping tomorrow, and there was a joy to that Thunder team that I really missed. Because as those guys got older
It's
and
great.
a little more jaded and all that, just like everything's in front of them and they're just happy.
I think you would feel it with Lamar no matter what, but the contrast to the Flacco era in particular is really
having a handsome
tangible.
corpse.
It's just the guys on the team want to play for him. They have fun playing with him. You hear the way like Earl Thomas is out there saying MVP, and it doesn't even matter if you think that's valid. It's just the fact that they're all having so much fun playing for each other. Also, I discovered last night that Marlon Humphrey has an Instagram for his cat. Every day I fall more in love with this team.
This is so up your alley.
Hit up It's Snowflake on Instagram.
Oh,
Check
God.
it out. Also, I'm just gonna a little teaser here. I got another cat thing coming up for you in the top 5.
Oh,
Do
boy.
not. What's number 5?
Okay. All right. Number 5. Every now and then I ask Bill to indulge me and talk about college football.
Oh,
And this is one of those weeks because it's
It's a big game this week.
it's LSU-Alabama
is something we
weekend.
can gamble on?
Ryan Russillo's there.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
It's LSU-Alabama. Number 2, LSU. Number 3, Alabama. The first college football playoff poll came out this week. Okay? And those two
I
teams.
know I was on the edge of my seat.
You must have been. I know you love the sport, and I know that you're invested in Nick
How did
Saban's
Condi Rice
legacy.
vote? Isn't she one of the voters? Condi Rice, doesn't she help with this?
2 of the top 4 teams in the first playoff ranking.
Yeah.
Facing off immediately. The other 2 teams, Ohio State was number 1, Penn State number 4. They'll play in a couple weeks.
Penn State was number 4?
Penn State number 4, Clemson, controversially at 5. Yeah, interesting stuff.
That's disrespectful.
So this is an incredible game if you're a college football fan. But my sell for you, because I know you don't accept that argument.
Gambling?
NFL draft scouting. Draft season starts now.
Okay.
Start paying attention to the prospects. This
Not
is
bad.
as good a game as any to start paying attention to. What's the number 1 question? Is Tua healthy? Alabama quarterback, number 1 prospect in the draft.
He sprained his ankle?
Well, he sprained it badly enough that he had to have surgery on it, and
Oh,
it's his
Jesus.
second
High
ankle
sprain.
surgery
One
in
of
2
those ones.
years.
Yeah.
It's the other ankle. He's now at ankle surgery 2 seasons in a row, which is not great. Saban being a little cagey about whether or not Tua is going to be ready to play. It sounds like he's going to, even though this only happened a couple weeks ago. But then what's question number 2? Whether or not Tua is out there, can Joe Burrow take Tua's crown? Joe Burrow is LSU's quarterback, and he is having a classic college football out-of-nowhere hero season. He's currently the Heisman frontrunner. A little background.
Great name.
Joe Burrow is a great name. 4-star prospect back in the day, originally went to Ohio State, couldn't crack it, couldn't beat JT Barrett for the job, and then knew he was going to lose out to Haskins, ended up transferring, played for LSU last year, was, I say this with nothing but admiration, like the definition of mediocre.
Yeah.
And this year is just an absolute star. He's got 30 touchdowns, only 4 picks. Not only is he the Heisman frontrunner at the moment, he's suddenly a top 10 NFL draft prospect. Maybe the number 2 quarterback in the draft at this moment. So they're facing off, which is awesome. Also, Alabama has 3 receivers who are, and I mean this, potentially top 20 picks in this draft. 3. And LSU has 2 defensive backs in this draft who are maybe top 20 picks, and they're going to be facing off against each other. Everywhere you look on the field, there's NFL talent. Plus, I'm sure you can gamble on it if you want to.
Alabama -6. Alabama -215 money line. Over under is 63.
Trump will be at the game, by the way.
What a week for him.
What
was the other thing he went to this week?
Well, he hosted the
He hosted
Nationals
the Nats.
at the White House, and he was at MSG for the
For the UFC fight.
Yeah,
Man,
he's
Trump
coming out.
doubling down on his sports base.
This
All
is
right,
going to be an
let's-
incredible game. It's a great game for how SEC
House, we're
play
going to watch it together. We'll
has
bet on
evolved.
Oh, that'll be fun. We are going to bet
It's on
it.
at
This is
3:30.
good.
Watch
oh,
it.
how much fun is that
Pay
gonna
attention
be?
to Jerry Jeudy, Henry Ruggs, and Devonta Smith, the Alabama receivers. They're,
Okay.
they're incredible. And then Fulton and Delpit for LSU.
it. All right, number 4.
Number 4.
Actually, let's take a break, and then we'll do number 4. Most intriguing.
Number 4.
Number 4. Sponsored by Jenny's, even though it's not actually sponsored, but we did really give them a plug.
Whiskey and
Maybe they'll
pecans.
send us some Jenny's.
Oh,
They
man.
always do. They're not afraid to send it. They've sent cases here before. I've seen it.
Nothing I love more than Jenny's.
If there was a bathtub filled with Jenny's ice cream,
Yeah, I would bathe in it and eat it
you
all.
would climb into it
The only
and
time,
try to eat
yeah,
your way out?
Absolutely. I
Why
wouldn't get
not?
out of the tub until I had finished.
What's the downside?
What's the most Jenny's ice cream you've eaten in
I
one
feel
night?
like that's an experience you want to share with a partner, though. The bathtub.
That's a fantasy suite.
You want
in
to know
The
how
Bachelor.
close I came just now to talking about getting in the bathtub with her and eating the ice cream? And then I was like, oh, wait a minute. I crossed the line last week. I don't want to offend her husband 2 weeks in a row. I have a wife. Like, I just can't keep doing this.
It'd be funny if he knew that you guys were being the pod together, and Adam came and was just kind of standing in the corner.
Like, hey,
How you
what's
doing?
up? Great to
Hey
see
man,
you.
yeah, I
Great to
thought
see you.
I'd just watch the pod.
Did they send any of the Texas sheet cake? That's his favorite.
All right, number
Number 4. What a weekend
Yeah,
for New York sports sadness. Giants-Jets is an
the Pooper Bowl.
all-time debacle.
great.
The Pooper Bowl. And not only do we have Dimes versus Darnold, the Jets' inadvertent tank in full effect. Everything that's happening with Gase. Do a Google search right now for Adam Gase and read some of these headlines. But we have the added variable, if you'll indulge me for a moment, of the MetLife cat.
The black cat. I saw that.
Terrific.
Will the cat come back? I just want to be clear about something. I want to know how you feel about the cat. My reaction was one of pure concern. Most people thought this is so cute. Oh, let's make a meme. Let's make a GIF. Here's a video. Here's a funny joke about the scouting report and how the cat would be better for the Giants than most of the players on their roster. I was like, does the cat have medicine? Does the cat have food? Does the cat have shelter? And guess what? I did some research. The answer is yes. Apparently, hundreds of cats live at the stadium.
So I read this article.
I didn't read this article.
There's a stray cat
Hundreds?
thing going on
It
there.
falls a bit into, from the Rewatchables, half-assed internet research. Like, you're not sure if you should believe what
Yeah.
you're reading. But there's certainly reporting out there that cats were brought in to the Meadowlands complex to fend off the rat problem. Now, the cats, I saw 300 cited as a number, have formed multiple colonies. Apparently, the stadium organization, they feed them
Colonies?
colonies.
Like a
Colonies of
Steven
cats.
Soderbergh drama?
I mean, you took a rat problem and made it a cat problem. How does that make any
Colony,
sense?
Underrated television show, by the way. They feed them dry food. Then there were quotes in this New York Post piece and some other pieces from individual employees who were saying, yeah, they have dry food, but I know the cats like wet food, so I provide them with wet food. And then I would like to read a line from this article. This is from the Post piece. Quote, officials at MetLife denied last Monday that the facility is overrun by cats.
Denied.
Well,
That's a thing that they have to say now. That's the state of things. right now.
Overrun by cats.
you can't have 300 cats in a stadium. That doesn't make any sense.
Well, where do they shit?
Like in the underneath. They
This
live
sounds,
underneath.
this
bad.
sounds like the
That's
next
bad.
great health crisis.
Yeah,
Well, there's
agree.
all sorts of stuff there, right? The racetrack. There's a lot of land.
This sounds
That's,
like
that's a MRSA.
this is
waiting to
Outbreak
happen.
2.
Yeah,
This
it
is how
This is
Outbreak
cat
started with the
Ebola.
monkey in the kitchen. What was that one?
Right.
Yeah.
I want the cats to be okay. That's my primary concern.
If
I'm
there's one
worried
or
about
two-
Sam Darnold's career,
I knew
but
you were
I
worried about the black cat when that thing was running around.
so
that thing was going to
worried.
get caught by a net or something.
Well,
I thought-
he seemed so. He was so clearly afraid.
Yeah, there was he was overcome by
anxious.
anxiety.
Yeah.
That's
Have
exactly
you
right.
noticed how announcers don't know how to handle moments like that?
But
Because
this one
Booger
was
and
an
Booger
all-timer.
and Tess were, I mean, they were fake laughing for 3.5 minutes. It's
No,
like,
Kevin
all right.
Harlan
Kevin
was
Harlan incorporated a live read, a sponsorship.
Well, I saw that.
It was
That was
spectacular.
funny.
Otherworldly.
The Monday Night
Otherworldly.
guys were like,
Well,
it was just like for 3.5 minutes. It's like, all right. There's a
it's
cat running
so
around.
dissimilar from the rest of the broadcast between those two.
So the cat.
The cat. Are you more worried about the cat or about Sam Darnold's interception rate? That's my question for you right now.
Well, you made me think about dark times for New York sports right now. Francesa stepping down, the Pooper Bowl, Meadowlands, whatever it's called now, being overrun by cats. The Knicks, House and I just did it on our podcast. We think they're the worst team in the league. Hockey,
Terrible.
whatever. Nobody cares until April.
And it ain't like the Nets are exactly setting the world on
Yeah,
fire.
no KD. It's pretty rough. Yankees
Maybe the
are not
Yankees-
going to get Garrett
That's
Cole.
what I was just going to say.
They
Hopefully
are-
they'll miss out on Cole.
Aren't they doing a deal with Gardner?
Yeah, Jacko.
Poor
was offset.
Jacko.
We're going to see Jacko this weekend and make Yankee jokes for 48 straight hours.
I mean, I'm wearing
Cole's
my...
going to go to the Angels, you think?
Well, he's a West Coast guy, California guy. I think the Phillies have a real chance.
The Angels,
I do.
That's an
not to
F
get
word
morbid
me.
for a second, but the Angels kind of, the Tyler Skaggs thing just kind of came and went.
Did it?
I don't know.
think
That,
so.
Active and incredibly
like
complex investigation.
I know, but that feels like that should be the biggest baseball story right now.
I think it has a chance
It's
to
probably
still
going to be, yeah.
So why are they the
It's not
front runner
over.
to get Cole? It's like, hey, you know what team I shine for? The team that's in an active drug investigation right now. That sounds enticing. I get to live in Anaheim.
I don't know.
Awesome.
Jeff Chow seems certain he'll end up on the Phillies.
I hate that outcome.
Do you think Strasburg's going to resign with the Nats?
Yes. Strasburg, I believe, is a lock. He moved
You got to
his
lock down
family.
Zimmerman and Suzuki.
It lock him up. Strasburg's a lock. He moved his family. He is a creature of habit. They have treated him enormously well in his time in Washington. I'm more worried about Anthony Rendon. No, he's had a great time. They signed him to an extension. They initiated an extension when they didn't have to. They overpaid. His opt-out is to bring him up to market. He deserves market. They'll pay him, and that all makes sense. It's a win-win-win for everybody.
I think Rendon ends
is
up in a Texas.
concerning.
Texas
God
team.
damn it! I don't want to hear that. That really hurts my feelings.
I think
he's
he wants
from
to be
Houston.
back. I know. I think he wants to be
God
back there.
damn it!
Yeah.
That
I worry
I-
about the Rangers, actually.
I actually have a prediction.
Okay.
What is it?
Is it that the Red Sox are going to trade Mookie Betts?
No. I don't want to talk about Mookie Betts. I can't handle it.
See, I don't want to talk about Anthony Rendon.
November 8th, 3:30 p.m. Pacific time.
Okay.
I think the Dodgers are going to trade Clayton Kershaw to one of the two Texas teams. And my guess is it's going to be the Houston Astros.
Well, that would be the
To
classic
replace
place
Cole.
for him.
Kershaw, fresh start.
The Verlander.
He's from Texas. Reboot, restart, moving on from the Dodger decade. That feels like an Astros-y kind of move.
I cannot see them trading him.
Okay.
I see him ending up there after this current contract expires. He's a franchise legend. You can't trade him.
All right.
I don't know if there was a
Mark
moment.
that clip.
Got it.
If
What's
there was
number
ever,
3,
ever a
Mallory?
moment.
Number 3,
Oh,
special request from
requested.
SG.
Yeah.
Oh,
What the hell is going on with these Chargers relocation rumors? The London rumor, and better than the rumor itself, the response from Chargers brass to the rumor, and then, even better than the response from the Chargers, the subsequent conspiracy theories about the Rams.
This is the best story
The
right now.
Rams driving this.
I don't know all the
So
details.
the rumor is the Rams are driving this. They don't want the Chargers to stay because they're competing for these
Right.
suites and leases, all these seat leases, all these different things. But really, nobody wants two LA football teams. Everyone in this entire region has made that pretty clear, and the Rams want to be the team, and they kind of are the team. There's no Charger fans.
Yeah.
They want to boot the Chargers out. So the conspiracy is they started this rumor about the Chargers moving to London and leaked it to
Right.
somebody
Yes.
because this was a reporter
This
who had
was
also
a-
broken
this was a
some other Rams
yeah,
stories.
and Florio had a PFT piece about this. It started to gain
this is
steam.
terrific.
Do you
It's a
think
little
this is valid?
succession-y.
Do you think there's any chance that this is true?
If I were the owner of I would jump at being the London team if I was a team like the Chargers, where there's zero path to me ever succeeding in any major way whatsoever in this region.
Okay,
it will
so
never happen.
Here is what Chargers owner Dean Spanos said. And
Dean.
by the way,
Dean's been lights out this decade. If there's been a bad move to make, he's made it.
as I understand it, he called reporters over to him. He wanted to make sure that they were going to hear him say this, okay? And I quote, "It's total fucking bullshit.
Said this in front of like 7 media members.
We're not going to London. We're not going anywhere. We're playing in Los Angeles. This is our home, and this is where we are planning to be for a long fucking time, period." And then, in conjunction with that, the official Chargers team Twitter tweeted out the "We're not leaving Wolf of Wall Street" clip.
And then Dean had sex in a helicopter and took a shit in his bed.
Well, I think
Oh no, that was Succession. My bad.
yeah, he shits in his bed every night. I mean, as that he's been doing
been a-
that to the Chargers for
been a
for-
rough decade.
for 10 years.
Here's
He's
an idea: just build a 35,000 seat stadium in San Diego.
he built a 50,000 seat
Well,
stadium.
But I'm saying, like, you don't have to build a football stadium that looks like Giant Stadium. You
Right.
can build one that's like 40,000. It's tight. It could have music. Like it's not like there's not a ton of money in San
there was
Diego.
10
I go
million
there for
ways.
soccer
But-
tournaments all the time.
But
It's nice
financing
there.
the stadium was why they left in the first place, right?
He
just
wanted the
pay for
stadium. They
yourself.
wanted them to pay for it. That's the
that's
whole
always
thing.
the story.
I know, but fuck him.
Or sell 40% of the team and pay for it that way. Or
Right,
there's
right,
so many
right.
different ways to do this correctly.
That's exactly right. There's
Put it
10
in Orange
million ways
County.
to
Like,
save it.
What
Absolutely
a
right.
dumbass. Instead,
He's a
he's
dumbass.
like tagging on to the Rams lease.
a
Like, people
loser.
barely want the Rams here.
He's a loser.
Do you think that the Rams started this has any validity?
I do.
Please,
I
dear God.
love it. It's great.
Please, dear God.
It's great.
To me, I understand the logic behind the conspiracy theory, It's hard to get people in LA to come to watch football games. There's only going to be so many bodies and so many dollars you can bring in. Make sure they're coming to your games, not your opponents. But first of all, as you said, that's already the case. The Rams already have the market share. The Chargers currently can't fill a soccer stadium.
The Chargers are zero impact here.
None.
Zero.
At least not yet. It's like, to me, it's the Don Draper, I don't think about you at all meme. Like, I just have a hard time believing that the Rams are letting the Chargers affect their plans at all, or that they care or are worried.
Well, but think of how low cost.
The Chargers are the Ginsburg.
Yeah, but think about how low cost that effort is. Like, okay, we'll get this guy who's in our pocket to write one story. That's all the heavy lifting they had to do. One person
Allegedly.
Associated with the organization saying write one story, and that's the nudge. That's
not,
all the nudge.
Or
that
not
we
even
need.
telling him to write the story,
that's right.
but
Intimate.
passing along
Intimate.
information
That's
that might not
exactly
be
right.
necessarily true.
Not a big lift. You didn't really ask anybody to go really way out over their skis.
By the
There's
way,
not going
great
to be
story.
a
He should have written
great
that.
story. Absolutely.
If
I
he's
agree.
got information that says the Chargers might move to London, that's a good story to write.
Well, the Chargers have not only denied it, but the league has denied it. No substance whatsoever to
Oh,
this
the
report.
league. The good
That's
thing
the
is the
NFL
league has
quote.
never lied.
Take it to the bank.
Bunch of stand-up citizens there. Number 2.
Number 2. Quarterback confidence watch. We have a few people we need to be keeping a very, very close eye on this week. A very close eye indeed. Number 1, this one is a little more straightforward, but just to put it out there, Kyle Allen, now that Cam Newton is on IR, Panthers-Packers, one of the best games of the weekend. Packers had their very weird swoon last weekend, will presumably come out in much better shape. Cam, done for the year with the foot injury. It's Kyle Allen's job right now. And the thing about the Cam story is everybody's saying, general consensus seems to be this is it for him in Carolina. So Kyle Allen has the rest of the season to prove that he should be the quarterback they build around.
What uniform is he going to wear in the Redskins, you think?
I mean, this is the thing. I was doing the math in my head. 2 years from now, he will be the quarterback of the Deadskins. Who will be on that team? I was sitting here literally thinking that Cam Newton will be the quarterback of the Deadskins.
That would be great.
It's the most skinsy move possible.
It's the skinsiest. As
Dan
long
Snyder's like, well, he was the MVP 6 years ago.
this is the Dan Snyder move.
So Kyle Allen has a chance to either grab the job by the balls or punt it.
That's right. And you're heading into a hell of a quarterback class. Plenty of options if you're not the guy. So you got
McCaffrey's
to
hurt.
earn it. Yeah.
He had the red flag and the yellow square next to him in fantasy this week.
it's a bummer.
That's always tough.
The combo.
Yeah.
That's always very tough. And he's
I
on
actually
pace
think-
for the best season.
Here's my advice for CBS Sportsline. I think they could put more emojis next to the players.
Like
Like
what
a-
body part? A body part emoji?
Like Alshon Jeffrey should just have a toilet next to his thing. No
That's
red
not
flag,
nice.
nothing. Just like a toilet.
That's not
It's
very
like, guess
nice.
what? If you're starting, your team's going to the
You're
toilet
being
this
petty
week.
now because you have Alshon Jeffrey.
No, I traded him. That's
Oh.
why I could be
I
petty
mean, you
now.
haven't
Did you
had him.
really?
I traded him and Tevin Coleman.
It was only Sunday night that you were saying,
That's
when
so
will I
funny.
stop playing
I had
Alshon
both
Jeffrey?
of those guys. I cut both.
I traded him and Tevin Coleman for the 49ers defense and Cortland Sutton.
What?
What?
Who's in
Yeah.
your league?
Wait,
Damashek.
Was this?
what?
Damashek needed a running back.
Drew Lock is going to be throwing passes to Cortland Sutton soon.
Yeah, but I like Cortland Sutton. I just
Do
didn't
you
want
like Drew
Alshon
Lock?
Jeffrey anymore. I needed the 49ers D. I like having good defenses. I like.
Oh my God. That's so strange.
I
Well,
agree.
Tevin
I thought
Coleman
you
was my
really-
fourth running back. I didn't even need him.
You can never have too many running backs.
I have Chubb, I have Marlon Mack, and I have Devin Singletary.
The Chubb has never let you down.
And I have Kareem Hunt as the Chubb backup. I'm just set.
That's too many
I
running
didn't need
backs.
Tevin Coleman.
Okay.
You know what I wanted? The 49ers D for the 15, 16 weeks. Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway.
Next quarterback confidence watch. This is
Yeah.
a big one. Our friend Mitchell Biscuit Trubisky. It's so bleak now. Here's where we are with it. Not sure if you've been following the news, but we've arrived at the moment where Biscuit is giving quotes about how he doesn't want the televisions on in the Bears complex. That happened yesterday.
We
That's where
love
we've
that.
arrived. Here's the quote. Trying to get some of these TVs in the building turned off because you got too many people talking on TV about us and what they think about us, what we should do, what we are, and what we're not. But they don't really know who we are or what we're capable of. This part actually makes me feel a little bad as people.
Oh no.
Not just as football players, as people. So this is how you know he's really
He
struggling
does seem like
here.
a nice guy. I feel
Or
bad
what
for
we're
him.
going through or what we're thinking. It's just outside viewers looking in. Biscuit He's getting existential. I'm really worried. I feel bad now.
Can we give the black cat from MetLife Stadium to Trubisky? Merge your two people you feel bad for?
I don't know. Mitchell Trubisky once, famously when he was in college, sent a tweet about how he loved titties, but he spelled it with extra S's. I'm not sure he should be caring for animals.
Titties?
Yeah, not sure he should be caring for animals.
Well, what did he? He started 1 year in high school, 1 year in college?
1 year at UNC.
And
1 year at
and it
UNC.
should have been 1 year in the NFL. He's about to be out of the league. He has a choice to make. He gets to decide whether he's willing to be a backup quarterback or he's out of professional football.
Third option.
Ravens.
XFL.
Backup.
Oh, XFL. This is a great call. You're right.
He'll be a great XFL.
He
player.
will. He will be a great XFL.
Wow.
Yeah,
Why,
we have
why
the
build
defenders
around
in Washington.
Landry Jones
By
and
the
Connor
way,
Cook when you can build around Biscuit?
Speaking of District of Champions, the defenders, the Washington entrant in the XFL. I love their odds. We
Washington
have
Defenders?
the Washington Defenders. We have a quarterback from I think Ohio State from like 6 years ago.
Cardell Jones?
Yes, that's who we have. We have Cardell.
Cardell Jones.
We have Cadillac Cardell.
He had a
That's
good.
We're gonna win the XFL
He's
He had a
awesome.
good Steelers moment. Didn't
Yeah,
he? Vaguely
The
remember. him?
Chargers
for a
while.
minute. Yeah, for sure.
Can you imagine
Absolutely.
Bears fans listening to this as we talk about Trubisky in the XFL, unironically?
It's where he belongs. It's not our fault.
I'm being completely earnest,
And by the way,
Completely.
he has a great life. He should look in the mirror and think about how lucky he is every
He got to
single
play
day.
football in
He got
the
a
NFL.
huge deal. He was the a top 5 draft pick in the NFL and got that money. Like, think about the stroke of luck that was required to produce that result for him in his life.
There
Great life.
are other things in life, and apparently he doesn't have them right now. You know,
He
the
needs the
satisfaction
cat.
of a job well done, knowing that people support you. But even Biscuit is not number one on the QB confidence watch meter. That is, of course, Mr. Trenchcoat and Mustache himself, Baker Mayfield, who you've talked about at length. We'll keep this quick, but it is a crucial update that I think we have a journalistic responsibility to share with the listening public. If you were wondering why his facial hair changed 3 times during the game, you know, he came into the stadium, he had the full beard. Then he went to the handlebars. And by the end, famously now, infamously, dare I say, at the end, he was rocking just the mustache. Why? Says, the original thought for me, do handlebars. I was undefeated before Sunday with the handlebar mustache. So I shaved it off because I didn't deserve it. Baker Mayfield is shaving his facial hair as games are unfolding because he doesn't think he deserves to have a handlebar mustache because of how poorly he's playing. That's where we've arrived.
I think the internet has driven an entire generation insane. And that's Kyle's generation, by the way. I think it's driven them fucking insane. That's insane. This guy's a starting quarterback on an NFL team. That's
concerning.
insane behavior.
Let's be fair.
It's troubling. I hope he's okay.
I think
I root for you, Baker.
He is being driven insane. The 2 head coaches in his professional career have been Hugh Jackson and Freddie Kitchens. Those are the 2 head coaches for the
Freddie
Freddie
Soup.
Soups.
for the
Freddie
introduction.
Soups. I like Soups is better,
Soups.
actually.
I like
Freddie
Soups.
Soups.
Freddie Soups.
But imagine like being Baker, you're taking shit, and then you're going online and reading all of it, and you're going in your Twitter replies, and Joe House 69 is making fun of you, and you're getting mad. Like all this shit's driving everybody crazy.
I mean, he gets in the Instagram comments and responds to people.
Yeah,
There should be
That's
somebody in
insane.
his
Don't
life.
do that.
This is the point. There should be some adult in his life. I'm rooting for some adult in his life to intervene and say, look, you don't have to live this way. Just go be the best quarterback you can be. I understand that the situation is still chaotic AF. Don't the kids say AF? AF, right? It's a terrible, terrible friend. They haven't fixed anything. Did you bet the under for Cleveland, by the way? How did we not give out the Cleveland Browns under
I don't know.
as a mortal
We did.
lock? It was the
I
lock
don't
of
think I
all
bet
locks.
it though. I just bet the Colts.
Them to miss the playoffs and them under whatever that crazy number was were the 2 locks. They have some stuff to figure out still in Cleveland. He still could be good. He's shown some really sustainable, good offensive football.
I still believe in his talent.
Me too.
Do you think?
I'd like to see him get the ball.
Yes
to
or
Odell.
no question. At halftime, is he scrolling through like his Twitter replies? I would say yes.
God, I hope no.
At halftime, I say no, just because I think he spends all of halftime having to listen to Odell ask him why he hasn't thrown a pass to him once.
But he's asking kindly still.
Yeah,
I
for
think
now.
he's
Hey, man, I was open.
For now.
at
whole first
halftime
half.
applying salves and
Though-
balms and ice.
Maybe in the minute and a half that Odell has to spend changing his cleats, Baker scrolls through the tweets. It's all coming together.
Yeah,
Might be onto something.
That
Like,
poor
do you
guy.
think Roger Federer is online going, oh, man, these people think I'm washed up.
Roger Federer
I'm going to read
has
another
never,
bad piece about myself.
He's never had to play for the Cleveland Browns.
That's right. He never played for Hugh Jackson.
Internet's driving everybody nuts.
Number one.
Number one.
We got an actual football one here. Monday Night Football, hell of a game. Seahawks, Niners.
Great game.
The return of one of the most important modern-day rivalries in the NFL.
Oh.
Okay. Interesting.
Robert Mays wrote about this for TheRinger.com. Great
Good piece.
website today. Good website. Good piece. Good rivalry. Hoping for a good football game. 7-2 Hawks. Obviously,
It's probably the
Niners
best
are
rivalry of the
undefeated.
decade.
I mean, you're completely wrong. Are you saying that? Are you trying to get a rise out of me because you know it's Steelers Ravens? I can't tell.
Steelers Ravens. What are you talking
What
about?
are you talking about?
Steelers Ravens?
The more you repeat it,
This decade, you think Steelers Ravens is the best rivalry?
no, I don't think I know.
That is absurd.
What do you think it is?
One Super Bowl-
Dolphins, Patriots,
One Super Bowl appearance between the two of them.
Tom Brady and his blood boy.
One PED scandal between the two of them. House.
I don't have a dog in this fight.
I think Seattle, San Francisco has been the best one because they've had probably the most good games against each other.
The Pete Carroll, Jim Harbaugh years.
That was
were special.
awesome.
They
Special.
were really good.
Special. And now we have, of course, the Richard Sherman factor.
Do you remember?
Yes.
I remember writing a piece for Grantland about it was a huge Breaking Bad. Game of Thrones, I think we're on at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
But then it was like week 2 or 3 and it was Niners Seahawks and it was all at the same time. Do you remember this?
Not really, but vaguely?
It was just this weird stretch where Breaking Bad and Game of Thrones were against each other, but then at the same time Niners Seahawks was
So
like the
there's
best.
only a couple years when that could have been.
It was 2014 or 2013.
13?
13.
That sounds right.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was when I started at Grantland.
Yeah. But so that was when it was the best rivalry, at least in that little era. And now it's going to be back, at least for this year.
Yeah, I mean,
So we
this
got-
is an incredible game.
The
What-
problem with the Pats is the Pats have never really had a rival. It was supposed to be the Steelers, but the Steelers just weren't.
It was the Colts for a little bit.
The Steelers just weren't man enough to hang in with us,
This is
unfortunately.
just so exhausting.
And then the Ravens, I mean, you definitely punted on that rivalry, unfortunately.
You watched football on Sunday night, right?
I did. Well, I'm glad you finally won one against us.
I am ready for you to throw it back in my face in the playoffs, but it won't bother me. It won't faze me at all. I'm delighted right now, and you cannot take that away from
Kyle
me.
was with me. I don't think I can overstate how nonplussed I was that the Patriots lost a regular season game.
Again,
We'll see you in
it's
the
not
playoffs.
about the Patriots.
We'll
It's
see you in
about,
the playoffs.
It's about validation and vindication for Lamar Jackson and the Ravens. Not everything's about the Patriots.
I'm glad you feel like you got it in early November.
I'm living in the moment. Right now, I'm enjoying life.
All I can judge Lamar by is January Lamar when he took a dump for 4 quarters.
You love Lamar. This is performative bullshit.
I do love Lamar. I do love Lamar. Now he's on my corner. I won a 7th Super Bowl. It's very important to Kyle.
Yeah, I was fucked up last week.
Kyle was upset. He
Kyle's
almost didn't want to do the podcast.
gonna be rooting for the
Kyle
Seahawks
wanted the
now.
undefeated season.
Oh, that's
Kyle's rooting for the Seahawks.
The Edelman fumble killed us.
They have Josh Gordon now, and he loves Metcalf. He's a
But
Seahawks
Jimmy,
fan.
but Jimmy.
He does love Metcalf.
This is a big game for you with Jimmy on the other side. I can't wait to see the Nick Bosa Russ matchup.
It's going to be incredible.
That is.
The Breida Coleman combo.
Also, they get their O-line health back this week.
Yeah, they got their O-line's better. The Breida Coleman combo, there's just so much speed with them,
Yeah.
and
They're
it's
so
kind of
fast.
relentless.
Yeah.
It's
They're
just
so
like
fast.
every play, there's another guy who's hitting the corner at running a 4-2.
Well, and right now the Seahawks can't generate a pass rush.
Right.
Anza's not doing it. They're double teaming Clowney. So can they break through that? Pressure Jimmy. It's gonna be a fun
The
game.
other thing with the Seahawks that would worry me if I was a Seahawks fan, well, you said no pass rush. Weird, like coaching, last 2 minutes of the first half, like doing some sort of blowing the last time out when you shouldn't. Like Pete Carroll's, some of that stuff starting to happen with him, and then they'll put the ball on the ground is the other thing.
Yeah.
Carson won't put the ball on the ground. You can get the ball from him.
That's part of what's really fun about this game in particular, this matchup, is the coaching style contrast between Carroll and Shanahan. That old school, new school, really conservative versus really aggressive. I'm looking forward to seeing that.
And the pass rush will be, if it's like a 30-10 type of Niners win, I feel like it'll be the pass rush.
I mean, Bosa is unbelievable.
The way to get Wilson is just where he doesn't even have a chance to do his little fucking stuff he does. I really like Metcalf. We talked about him last week. I think he's emerged into a real weapon for them.
He's incredible.
But I think the case for the Seahawks is like respect for Russell Wilson.
Absolutely.
And that's it, which sometimes can backfire in games like this where you're like, oh, man. He doesn't even have 3 seconds.
So far this season, the defense hasn't been up to it. Like, they let the Falcons back in last week.
I don't think their defense is good.
I agree. This is the thing. This is that. And so the question marks with Kittles is
Kittles and bits?
Yes.
You mean Kittle?
You know what I mean.
This is groggy. It's getting hot in
exactly.
here.
Plus, I woke up at 5 a.m. East Coast. That's the only thing that would scare me away, but I agree that it's a stay away betting wise. We didn't bet it this week.
All right, Mallory's most intriguing. Pleasure as always.
Delightful
you can listen to her in binge mode. You can listen to House on House of Carbs.
We had this week You Suck at Cooking, the wildly popular YouTube videos, instructional videos by a guy who just wants you to cook simply and enjoy yourself doing it with some fun songs and kind of a funny sense of humor.
It sounds like you can get him for the cast of Load Management too.
Well, it would be a disembodied penis because he never shows his face. He's anonymous, so it would be an anonymous.
Oh, he's
pizza.
anonymous.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean anonymous. Yeah, exactly.
So you could do some eyes wide shut. Matt.
Ooh, I like this. I'm into that.
Let's get out of
What
this.
about the ice cream?
Thanks,
Jenny's
House.
ice
Thanks,
cream
Mallory.
in a bathtub.